Hello everyone and welcome to a Cupid Parasite video, but we are in the fan disc now and I am so excited. Okay, so it goes to this. Let me just turn down all the volumes first. Push A button.
Cupid Parasite, sweet and spicy darling.
Okay, options. All fast. That puts it down pretty low. That's pretty good. Sound effects is also going to go down. Cutscene volume, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, I can talk now. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Yes, touch effect. Yeah, okay, I want all that. Okay, I could turn it down even more, I guess. Huh. Let's turn it down even more. Doesn't change the music very much, but we'll take all that we can get, right? Because music and sound effects were just outrageous in the first one. We'll turn everyone up to full. Can't I go? There we go.
Case 7 Destiny Parasite メレニス・レビンすべては運命の道
ケース6センシティブパラサイトピーター・フラージュ
Dang, that's with your voice all the way up.
ケース5ストールンパラサイトアラン・メルビルもう略奪
ケース4アピアランス・パラサイト K サイン F 龍騎あんたは DA536E だけど
My eyes are the cutest in the world. That's so adorable.
思ってるから
Might have to turn them up a little bit, I guess. Okay, let's see what their voices sound like now.
ケース4アピアランス・パラサイト K サイン F 龍騎あんたは DA536E ケース3ホビーパラサイト
Okay,
ラウ
sounds
ル・ア
good.
コニット
Sub voices, you gotta turn up everyone.
神話好きのおかげで彼女ともいろいろ話せたし
エロースのためなの愛の力
Who are you?
あ、こんにちは先代のキューピッド僕はシルビー・スコット新しいキューピッドですキュピ
Usually, like, girl characters are really, really loud, turned all the way up, but I didn't know if that was a girl or boy.
大変だね好きなもの食べられない
Prodigy model, huh?
多くの人に我がダムールパラデ
Why
ィ
did
を
they
知
say
ってもら
case
いたい
question mark?
そのためのプレ
I
ゼン
think
トだ
there's also like other episodes that are unlocked, but they're unlocked for the main characters after you complete their best ending in their, I think, what was it called, after drama? I think. Save changes. All right, so I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so this is like was it like a 50-hour game? So to not make it that long in episodes, I want to try to do like hour-and-a-half videos. I've already posted the video for tonight, so this is not coming out tonight. This will come out tomorrow. And it's recommended to do, what's his name? The new guy, one of the new guys. Mariance, I don't know his name. It's recommended to do him first as far as like, I guess story plot wise or whatever, because that takes place after the common route, but I don't want to do him. I want to do Ryuki. It's been forever since I've seen Ryuki. It recommends doing Alan last. It says Alan is a good last route to do. So I think I will do Alan last, like it recommends. Probably only because they are the angel pairs, and even though Peter will probably make for a good ending as well, them being, you know, God-God relationships and she's just. I think Alan will probably be a much better end since Alan felt like the true root for me even after Peter's. So we're going to do Alan's last. We're going to do Peter and then Alan. I don't know where I'm going to squeeze in Mary and Slevin. Maybe in between. Maybe we're going to do Ryuki, Shelby, then him, then Ral, then Peter, then Alan. And I think Owen has an ending in here somewhere too. I don't know where he fits in, but I saw it in the review. I didn't really read anything about it, so we're just going to go in here knowing that much, and that's it.
キューピッドパラサイトスイート&スパイシーダーリン
Sounds like Shelby. Load event. So we're just going to do Darling, I guess. Select a story to play. Nope, not doing you first. Yes, go back. Yes, I want you. No, go back. Dang it. Oh, do I have to choose? Oh, okay, I go up and down. So you can play the new Parasite. I think he's called Destiny Parasite. And then the best episodes, which you can only unlock after you do this. No. Yes. I said I wouldn't hold back now that I'm 20. Oh yes. I remember that ending very well, actually.
アフタードラマK サイン F 龍騎もう子供じゃないから遠慮
I don't restrain myself. I have no idea what this is going to be. Another YouTuber who read this said it's completely like off the rail. Like the story people, they started with something and it just escalated and turned into something completely random. So I'm very curious of what it's going to be. All right, we're going with Lynette. Yes. Wow, that's very colorful. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get used to this. I'm so nervous. That day, I decided to catch a flight from Lost York all the way to Japan. I was meeting Ryuki's parents to tell them about our wedding plans.
大丈夫
There's quotation marks. Oh my goodness, we know when they're talking. I turned to see Ryuki sitting next to me with an anxious look on his face.
足崩して大丈夫だけど正座つらいんじゃないの
Oh, I'm fine. I mean, I'm here to meet your parents, Ryuki. It's important that I sit properly.
でも母さんたち全然来ないし
He was right. We had been waiting in this Japanese restaurant for about 15 minutes. My legs were about to give out, so I decided to take his advice and stretch them to get the blood circulating again. Ouch, that stings. Seeing me rub my feet, Ryuki let out a deep sigh.
ごめん母さんも父さんも遅刻して一応向かってる途中だって連絡は来たけど
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sure they're really busy.
まあそうだけどでも今日は結婚の挨拶をするって言ってあるのに二人ともいつもこうなんだよ肝心な時に遅刻してきてさ
Ryuki didn't look happy, probably reflecting on similar incidents from his past. Ryuki's mother was a world-renowned violinist and his father was a popular model. It wasn't surprising that they were busy. From the sound of things, they were likely juggling work commitments too. I don't have any plans after this, so I really don't mind waiting. But Ryuki kept checking his phone, growing more irritable by the minute. Ryuki, I'm really okay. I understand it's hard to get them both free because of their busy schedules.
リネットごめんあんたにまで気を使わせてでもせっかく日本に来てもらったのに
No worries, I wanted to see where you grew up anyway, so really, please don't stress. Ryuki's mother was performing in Japan at the time as part of her world tour. Ryuki's father had joined his wife since he didn't have a photo shoot, making it a perfect opportunity to meet him too.
でも二人とも今しか空いてないって言うから僕も急いで仕事を終わらせて予定を組んだのに
While Ryuki has been incredibly busy lately, Ryuki achieved immense success after he designed Emma Winston's red carpet dress. His talent as a designer garnered attention, and he soon became known as the mind behind women's fashion brand Keisai plus Fin. He received several fashion awards and quickly rose to stardom with his displays during Fashion Week. News spread about him, making his brand a headline in many magazines and articles. So it wasn't surprising that both his name and brands, Ryuki and Keisai Infant, became well known in Lost York too. I hope we could talk about Ryuki's success with his parents.
はあ、ほんと遅いな。このまま会えなかったらどうしよう。
Ryuki was anxiously checking his phone again when the sliding door suddenly slammed open.
来たわよ。
うわっ
A woman burst into the room before I had a chance to compose myself.
母さん
So she's Ryuki's mother.
あらもう、またこんな派手な色にして。会いたかったわ。
やめて髪型崩れるでしょ。
少し太ったんじゃない？なに？幸せ太り？うりゃうりゃ。
くすぐったいってばやめてよ。別に太ってないし。
Ryuki's mother was rubbing his head affectionately and poking his belly. Following her, a tall man entered the room.
龍騎、元気そうでよかった。
父さん、もう二人とも遅いよ。
ごめんね、龍騎。タクシーすっ飛ばしてきたんだけど、途中で渋滞に捕まっちゃったのよ。まあ、せっかく日本に来てくれたのに遅くなってごめんね。
大丈夫だから。頭撫でるのもお腹つっつくのもやめてよ。ほら、席について。
With Ryuki's words, his parents took their seats across from us.
龍騎の母です。
龍騎の父です。
ようやく会えて嬉しいわ。あなたが龍騎がドレスまで作ってプロポーズしたっていう女の子ね。
Nice to meet you. I'm happy to be here. My name is Lynette Mirror. Upon hearing their introduction, I quickly straightened up and respectfully bowed to them. I believe this was the proper way to show respect in Japan, at least according to what I found on the internet. I peeked up to check if I had done it correctly and saw Ryuki's mother looking at me with sparkling eyes.
かわいい。龍騎ったらこんな素敵なお嬢さんとお付き合いしてるの？
母さん。
ごめんなさいね。でも私たちは気にしないから普通にして大丈夫よ。堅苦しいのって大変でしょ？私の母、のりえと違ってこういうの私たちは気にしないから。
ええ、正座も無理にしなくて大丈夫ですよ。
そうそう、ごめんね。日本人じゃないと正座きついでしょ。この人も苦手なの。だから足崩して大丈夫よ。
I would not be able to sit on my knees. I would struggle to be proper in Japan on the ground. His father nodded in agreement. I only just noticed that he wasn't sitting on his legs, folded under him.
ごめんね。椅子のお店にしようかと思ったんだけど、ここ個室だし雰囲気いいし、昔からここの料理が好きでつい予約しちゃったの。それに今私が所属してるオケの練習場がこの近くで。ってあれ私喋りすぎ？
そうだよ。
He said, yeah. Ryuki looked exhausted while his mother continued to smile brightly and his father quietly observed with a look of joy. They each had their distinct yet approachable personality, which reminded me a bit of my own parents. Moreover, it was quite a sight to see Ryuki so flustered.
失礼いたします。お食事をお運びいたしました。
The sliding door opened and a server brought in some drinks and lavished Japanese dishes.
こちら右から蒸し鶏とクラゲのごま和え、唐辛子の揚げ浸し、かぼちゃの茶巾と小餅あゆの煮浸しでございます。
They looked delicious. Though I was unfamiliar to most of it, I could tell by the presentation that the food was going to be good. Once the server left, Ryuki promptly placed his palms down onto the tatami flooring. I followed suit and mimicked him, preparing for formal introductions when...
じゃあ早速乾杯をしましょう。
え
てかリネットさん、和食大丈夫だった？
Yes, actually, I love Japanese food.
うん。納豆も美味しそうに食べてたし、大丈夫だと思う。
納豆食べられるのね。よかった。じゃあ早速お祝いしましょう。リュウキ、婚約おめでとう。
それより先に報告させてほしいんだけど。
Ryuki cleared his throat and looked straight at his parents.
お父さん、お母さん、紹介させてください。彼女が、僕が今お付き合いさせていただいているリネット・ミラーさんです。
Is this the new theme song for them? It's such a cute scene.
彼女とは姉さんが紹介してくれた結婚相談所で知り合いました。もともとは僕の担当アドバイザーでしたが、大会後に仕事を共にする機会があり、物事に対する向き合い方や考え方、僕のことを考えて話してくれる優しさを感じ、仲を深めました。幸せな時も大変な時も一生そばにいてほしいと願うのは彼女だけです。それで彼女と結婚をします。今日はその報告をしに日本へ戻ってきました。
With that, Ryuki bowed deeply. I followed his lead, bowing as low as he did. They said I could relax, but these traditions held deep cultural significance. There was meaning in following them. In fact, doing so made it sink in that we were really getting married. We had promised to marry each other, but a feeling I couldn't identify back when I was now washing over me.
リュウキ。
よかったな、龍騎。
おめでとう二人とも。もちろん結婚を歓迎するわ。
ありがとう、父さん、母さん。
Finally, I saw Ryuki's tension, which had been present ever since he arrived in Japan, start to dissipate. His face lit up, knowing he'd accomplished what he set out to do.
じゃあ改めて二人の婚約に乾杯しましょう。
ああ、そうだな。龍騎も20歳になったし、もう飲めるだろう。
Is that the drinking age in Japan? How's that gonna work out for him? Ryuki accepted the cup, blushing slightly. Just don't get drunk. I actually want to see that.
乾
I want to see a drunk Ryuki, that'd be funny. And so we clinked our glasses together and dug into the Japanese meal. This is delicious.
おいしいでしょう。ここの料理、結構海外の人にも受けがいいのよ。オケのメンバーともたまに来るの。
I see. Well, it's really good. I continue to use the chopsticks Ryuki had taught me to use as I savored the food. Ryuki's mother and sister sure are similar. Both his mother and sister were warm and friendly, showering Ryuki with affection. I also noticed that Ryuki shared his father's reserved eating manner and quiet nature.
ん？
何？
Nope, nothing. I couldn't help but smile, seeing Ryuki and his father make the same expressions simultaneously. I heard that Ryuki took after his grandmother, but now I was beginning to think he might be more like his father.
ところで二人ともどんな結婚式にするの？
結婚式？
龍騎のことだからあげるでしょ？洋風？それとも和風？てかロサンヨークでやるの？それとも日本？
それはまだ決まってない。
あら、そうなの。
そうだよ、まだ結婚するって決めたばっかりなんだから。
あら、ごめんね。気が早くて。ドレス作ったって聞いてたし、もうとっくに決めてるんだと思ったのよ。
The wedding. I completely overlooked the wedding planning. Ryuki had only recently proposed, so I thought we had plenty of time, especially since Ryuki had just turned 20. Since we had agreed to get married, there was no reason to not start planning. Wonder what kind of wedding Ryuki would like. I glanced at him and saw that he was deep in thought. Perhaps he was contemplating what kind of wedding we should have. He's probably going to design like every bridesmaid and men's clothing for his guests. I mean, that's something I would do if I was a designer. I decided to ask him later when we were alone. Regardless of what kind of ceremony he wanted, I was certain we'd have a memorable wedding. It could be Japanese or Western. Either way, I was sure Ryuki would look great. As the meal continued, we enjoyed our time with his parents. That was something else. I really enjoyed that. I need to go back and look at all those things. Oh, are we having a flashback of all the CGs here? Okay, so I saw a couple of things. I'm gonna have to go back and relook, but Sylvie, I think, was the young boy. I think it said new Cupid, so I'm really curious about that. And it says Zeus was Almighty God. So Zeus is in here apparently, and then we sealed him off in the last one. Also, I think it's funny that every single one of them has like candy in their mouth. Maybe that has significance on the game. I don't know. There was some oh my goodness moments CGs in that that we're going to be discovering. So. Young Ryuki, what does this say? It was like a couple's retreat or something.
あら、リュウキ、十二一重が気になるの？十二一重。ね、昔のお着物みたいなのなんだけど、神社で結婚式を挙げるときに着る花嫁衣装のことよ。
I hope they have a shrine wedding. That would be amazing.
ラッキーね。ちょうど遊びに来てるときに結婚式やるなんて。あれが結婚式なの？そうよ。でもお母さん、あんまこういうの詳しくないのよね。だからもし気になるなら、おばあさまに聞いてみなさい。きっと詳しく答えてくれるわ。うん。十二一重。日本の結婚式。綺麗だな。
Cupid, the name of the deity governing love. This is the story of Cupid experiencing human love. It is also the tale that underscores the joy of spending time with the one you love. Wow, that's so colorful. Oh my gosh, I did read. Let's see, where is it? It says, At the end where it says system and localization, it says color vomit bright menus. Be prepared to be bombarded with explosions of vibrant pop colors. And the menus seem to be all over the place. So yeah. And I'm just like, this is even brighter than the first game. It's really pretty though. I really like the colors in it. Like if I could have this on my desktop background, actually, you know what? This would make a good desktop background. So wow. A day had passed since meeting Ryuki's parents. Embracing the luxury of being in Japan, we decided to head down to Asakushi. I think the U's are silent in Japan though.
へえ。結構浅口の店も変わってるな。
Yeah, Asakushi. You used to come here often, Ryuki.
まあ、浅口だけじゃないけど、おばあ様がいろんなファッションを見るのも勉強だって言ってたから。日本の主要都市は大体回ったかな。それで街頭に立っていろんな人の服を見るんだ。でもよく行ったのは銀座かな。掲載員のお店もあったし、買っている人を見ると勉強になったんだ。街を歩く人を見ているだけでも、これからの流行の予想を立てられたしね。
You lived in Japan until you moved to Lost York, right, Ryuki?
うん、そうだね。だからそうやっていろんな街を見てたのは、確か14ぐらいの時だったかな。
He was always serious, even as a kid. But being 14 years old suggests that he was in high or middle school. So he'd been, 14 years, that'd be high school, because my 14-year-old's in high school. So he'd been fascinated by fashion and studying it since then. Well, I haven't been in the human realm for long either. About 6 years ago, while I was still working as Cupid, I left Celestia and descended to the human realm. I came here after arguing with my stubborn dad who believed there was no need for me to intervene with human love affairs. That was when I met him, Ryuki of Keisaien, my lover and the one who proposed to me. Since the beauty was sharp and he was known to ignore anyone who didn't meet his expectations of beauty. But now I was with him. That in itself was nothing short of a miracle. I remember how he sprayed me with mist when we first met. Here we go. Spray. What was that?
乾燥ひどすぎ。保湿ミストぐらい常備すればいいのに。
That was when we first met. Ryuki was a problematic member of Cupid Corp, one of the Parasite 5. He only cared about people's appearances. He was considered a troublemaker because he wouldn't acknowledge anyone who didn't meet his beauty standards. Those assigned to him threw up their hands in frustration, earning him the nickname Glamour Parasite. Of course, he wouldn't go so much as glance at anyone that didn't meet his standards, leading all the matchmaking parties to fail miserably. He can't even see anyone who doesn't meet a certain criteria. They look like a mist of haze. I became his advisor back then and tried my best to change his views. Actually, I tried finding someone for him without changing who he was. I arranged dating lessons and marriage seminars for him, but they all failed and he soon withdrew from Cupid Corp. So much has happened. Strangely enough, I was actually spent more time with Ryuki after he canceled his membership. Instead of being his advisor, I spent time with him as a friend, helping him with his work and sharing meals. Then one day, he finally confessed to me. He taught me what love truly is. Ryuki taught me, a formal Cupid, everything about love.
何?
He blushed as he caught me staring at him. He was making an expression he never used to make when we first met. Ryuki was strict both with himself and others and always seemed to look down everyone and everything. But now his expression has softened, and just seeing him like that brought a smile to my face. Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about how much you've changed since we first met, Ryuki.
はあ? 別にそんなに変わってないでしょ。
I know, it's like his eyes were just opened all of a sudden. He just kept saying, how can she be this cute? She wasn't this cute before.
まあ、あんたは可愛くなったけど。
I missed him saying this. Ryuki mumbled, blushing, but actually nothing about me had changed. The way Ryuki perceived things now made me seem cuter to him. He learned the meaning of love. Thanks, Ryuki.
ほら、それより 日本で食べたいものがあるって言ってなかった？
Ryuki changed the subject, trying to mask his embarrassment, but his red ears gave him away.
せっかく浅口にいるんだし、あんたが行きたいところに行くよ。
I was looking at the art book, and they have different facial expressions for the parasites, and I think this look is like the spicy look is what they called it. I don't know what that means, but maybe when they're mischievous and up to something. What I wanted to eat was, oh yeah, I forgot there's not usually a route to go down in fan discs, so I forgot that this even had a route. It's sweets with peanuts. Sweet or spicy? Sweet or spicy, okay. I was wondering if it would tell us it probably does tell us the catch, but since we can see, since this isn't a save route, let's look at all of them. We're going to look at, actually, hold on. Okay, yeah. There's only 2 saves, and it's only 2 different choices, so we don't go back and look at all of these. So let's look at all the choices. We're going to go with dumplings and whipped cream. Oh, that's right. I wanted to try those whipped cream topped dumplings I saw on Instagram.
はあ？団子にクリーム？何それ？そんなのがあるの？
Tacos and cream. Huh? Isn't it Japanese food?
団子は確かにそうかもしれないけど、まあいいや。あんたが食べたいなら。
That goes down to the sweet end.
ほら、食べに行こう。
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to go back and read the other one. There's a sweet end, there's a spicy end, and there's a sweet and spicy end. And then once you get the sweet and spicy end, then you will unlock the extra episodes. Okay, what we want to eat is sweet with peanuts. I know, I saw some sweets made with peanuts on Instagram. I heard they're made from rice.
ああ、浅口定番の嵐ならしね。それなら、あっちにある老舗で買うといいよ。味もいろいろあるはずだから。
The spicy one.
ほら、買いに行こう。僕も子供の頃に食べて以来だし、久々に食べたい。
Okay. So good and crunchy.
硬いよね。初めて食べた時はみんなそう言うよ。
With Lynette by my side, we walked through Asakshi to the store.
ほんと、相変わらずだな。
Get to hear what he thinks, or is this from his point of view now? Her curiosity, her vibrant personality, and everything about her was so endearing it made me smile.
DA536E で偏差値55以上の C ランクだったのにさ。でも今では世界中の誰よりも彼女が輝いて見える。
One I love is cuter than anyone else, so much so that I want to do everything to make her happy.
これもリネットとじゃなければ食べなかっただろうな。
I know, what was his endings? One of them, he was following Raul around. Actually, I think maybe that was Raul's route. He was following Raul around, and he was his personal designer. Like the bad end, I think Lynette also went into fashion, and they were collaborators. I actually don't remember the other 2 ends. Now I have to go and see what the other 2 ends were, where she didn't end up with him. I'd always viewed food merely as a means to maintain beauty and health. I hadn't thought of it any other way before. I believed in my values, thoughts, and views of others would never change, but I had no intention of changing myself. But I changed because I met her. Because I fell in love with her. I had enrolled in Cupid Corp and she was my advisor back then. To be honest, I didn't remember much about the moment we first met. I only saw her as a color.
DA536E.
She was just another person I'd passed by on the streets, leaving no lasting impression on me. Just another face in the crowd. I thought she was just like everyone else I interacted with before. Except she's actually a person, not a haze. He saw she was enough of a color to have a face.
でも、なんか変だったんだよな。最初からさ。
Yet he insisted in doing everything for her on their date. She was passionate and committed to finding me a suitable partner.
僕がただおばあ様や姉さんに言われて仕事の糧にするために婚活をしているって言っても怒ったりしなかった。
She then suggested that I needed to take lessons, so she became my first date. She was so incredibly mindful at the shared house. My previous advisors would sigh when we talked and try to distance themselves.
彼女だけは僕を普通の人と同じように扱ってくれた。だから気がつけば全然違う日常になってたんだ。
I learned the benefits of living with others, which I saw as something my grandmother and sister were trying to teach me. I assumed I didn't need to get married anymore, that's why I left Cupid Corp. Even then we met frequently. We exchanged contact information and she would come help me with my work.
でも一緒にいても嫌じゃなかった。
For the first time, I genuinely accepted someone's presence in my life outside of a business relationship. As I started spending more time with her, new ideas and ventures began to formulate in my mind.
誰かの意見を聞きたいって思ったのも初めてだったな。
I never really valued opinions other than mine and didn't care about anyone else's feedback. But for some reason, I wanted her input when I decided to embark on a new challenge. I would still vividly remember how thrilled I was when she showed up on the first day I opened my women's fashion line.
あの時は分からなかったけど今なら分かる。多分彼女に勇気をもらっていたんだ。それで一緒にいるとほっとするっていう感情もあの時初めて知ったんだ。
I yearned for her company, to have her near me always. I couldn't comprehend why I felt so drawn to her. I was infatuated. That feeling didn't dissipate, instead it intensified with each passing day.
だんだん可愛く見えるようになる彼女に自分の目がおかしくなったと疑って眼科にまで行ったんだ。
I know, he wanted a second opinion. Finally, the realization hit me. Yes, it was love. She chuckled out of the blue, smiling as we walked side by side. I belated, realizing that she'd been observing me. Shying away from her gaze, I struggled to remember what kind of expression I was making.
何？
Oh, nothing. I was just reflecting on how much I enjoy being with you here in Japan, Ryuki. Whenever she was present, I strived to behave like an adult. I gave it my best shot, but I suspected it wasn't going well since she continued to tease me.
一緒に日本に来られてよかった。そんな風に言ってくるなんてやっぱりずるい。
I didn't harbor any particular affection for my homeland, but I was delighted to hear she was fond of it. Trying to maintain my composure, I directed my gaze back to her.
そう。あんたがそう思ってくれるのは嬉しいけど、僕もあんたと来たいって思ってたから。
Huh? Sorry, did you say something?
なんでもないよ。
I think she heard you. We finished our snacks, disposed of the wrappers in the trash bin, and resumed our exploration of Sakshi. The surreal knowledge that I was in Japan with her, underscored by the Japanese being spoken around us, was overwhelming. They never touched upon this, but does Lost York have a different language than Japanese? I mean, I would assume so, since it's supposed to be across the country, but they never really said what they spoke in Lost York.
一人の時と全然違う。こんなにも周りが鮮やかだったなんて。
I was overjoyed at the opportunity to roam around Japan with her.
それより次どこか行きたいところある？
Ryuki mumbled quietly, glancing away from me. I knew he wasn't angry. In fact, he was trying to conceal his blushing face. The once scornful Ryuki who used to glare at others was now shyly hiding his embarrassment. Overcome with joy, I gently grasped his hand. I could tell Ryuki was holding his breath. His ears grew redder by the second. He's so adorable. Would he get mad if I said that to his face? I was certain he'd get upset, perhaps even sulk. I stole a glance at Ryuki's face. Is there anywhere you'd recommend or want to visit, Ryuki?
行きたい場所
Yeah, I mean, since we're here, I'd like to know your favorite spots.
好きな場所
Ryuki frowned slightly, then scanned the surrounding area.
そうだな。せっかくなら日本にしかないところにあんたを連れて行きたいんだけど。
Ryuki began to walk and pulled out his smartphone to check something. He's not choosing where he wants to go, but where he wants to take me, huh? I followed the thought that Ryuki was considering my enjoyment. As we rounded the corner, Ryuki halted abruptly.
Oh.
Huh? Is there an issue?
いや、
Seemed to find something intriguing. I followed his gaze to a sign featuring an adorable dog with the name Mameshiba? Mameshiba.
日本には犬や猫がいるコンセプトカフェがあるんだ。
I was gonna say, maybe like a palace or something, but a cat cafe would be something unique to Japan too.
海外からの観光客にはおすすめって聞いたこともあるし、珍しいんじゃないかって思ったんだけど。
His eyes were fixed on the sign. Perhaps it was just my perception, but it seemed Ryuki was eager to go there. Well, Ryuki does adore Kagura. He had a large, charming Sluki named Kagura. She was staying at a luxury pet hotel. Why not? Let's check it out.
じゃあ、行こう。
He's so happy. Ryuki nodded with a smile on his face. With that, we made our way to the Mameshiba Cafe. We pushed open the door and stepped inside. My goodness. Suddenly, Ryuki was enveloped by a swarm of mini Shibas. So many dogs were swarming him that even the staff seemed surprised.
うわくすぐったいな。
They're so cute. I smiled as I watched the fluffy dogs. Ryuki was too occupied with the dogs to relax.
かわいいけど、なんでこんなに僕の方にばっか。落ち着いてよ。
One of the mini Shiba suddenly clambered up to lick Ryuki's cheek.
わかったわかった。順番に撫でるから。うんうん、ありがとう。よしよし、くすぐったい。
they're listening to Ryuki. I guess the mini Shibas could sense that he was a dog lover. Watching Ryuki frolicking with the mini Shibas reminded me of a certain fluffy creature that I could only see. Aww, Chi, the divine beast that accompanied me from Celestia. I hope Chi is doing okay. I lost the ability to see Chi after sharing a kiss with Ryuki on December 31st. My Cupid's arrow necklace disappeared, but when I reached out to my aunt, she confirmed that it had returned to Celestia. Essentially, after falling in love and sharing a genuine kiss, I had lost my Cupid status and became fully human. I assumed that also caused me to lose my ability to see Chi. It was something sad that I could no longer hear Chi's chirping voice and electrical buzzing. Then again, Chi and Kagura were always at odds, so I guess Chi would have moved on regardless of my relationship with Ryuki. I know, he would never live in a house with a dog. He's terrified of dogs. Kagura always reacted as if Chi was completely visible. Maybe animals possessed a natural sixth sense that allowed them to perceive divine beasts. As I continued contemplating that now absent Chi, one of the mini Shibas waddled over to me. Wow, so adorable. The serene mini Shiba gently settled into my lap. I relaxed, gently petting the mini Shiba. As for Ryuki, he was still enjoying the mini Shiba entourage.
こら、ダメだって。もうおやつは持ってないよ。
I know, my battery's gonna die.
ほら、どこにも隠してないから。手の中にもないよ。
He was completely immersed in playing with the mini Shibas. Ryuki sure is having fun. Ryuki protested against the tickly sensation, but his smile showed he was enjoying the moment. His fluffy friends didn't let up until we finally left the cafe. The staff and the other customers looked at Ryuki with envy. After an enjoyable day at the Mini Shiba Cafe, we returned to our traditional Japanese inn in Sakshi. Phew. Exhausted from our outing and full from dinner, all we wanted to do was shower and get some rest. All that walking was tiring. I lay down on the bed and Ryuki came quickly after.
疲れた？
A little. Those mini Shibas sure were cute.
うん。でも、あんなに懐っこいなんて思ってなかったよ。
Despite his words, the amused smile on his face made it clear that he enjoyed the experience. Then unexpectedly, he reached out, pulled me close, and kissed me.
でも、懐かれるなら、あんたの方がいい。
Oh my goodness. Ryuki. As I looked up at him, his lips met mine gently. A kiss. Oh, really? I was so focused on meeting Ryuki's parents during the trip that I didn't realize he hadn't held me like this yet. In other words, this was our first kiss on our trip. I blushed at the reminder that we were really lovers. What's wrong with you? We both blushed. The newness of the sensation was making us feel awkward. We had confessed our feelings to his parents and officially became an engaged couple, but our relationship was still quite fresh. I mean, he already initiated you on his birthday, though. Our unfamiliarity was such closeness led us to pull apart slightly after the tender kiss. It took me like 5 times to say that word. But Ryuki's gaze stayed locked on me, his eyes soft and loving despite his embarrassment.
あのさ。
Yes?
昨日は疲れてて、すぐ寝ちゃったから言いそびれてたんだけど、うちの両親に会ってくれてありがとう。
The little futons in the corner is so cute. It reminds me of the house that I have built in Final Fantasy. I have 2 futons side by side like that to imitate like a double bed. But it looks exactly like that too.
あんたと結婚することを言いたかったから、来てもらえて嬉しかった。
His heartfelt words prompted me to smile, matching his own radiant expression. No, Ryuki, thank you for bringing me here. I rested my head on his chest and hugged him tightly. I'm gonna drive him mad. His heart pounded rhythmically against my ear, its pace quickening with every passing second.
それで、さ。
Ryuki turned to me, his hand landing softly on my shoulder. Despite his face going crimson, he held my gaze, though his eyes shifted before he spoke.
次は、あんたの両親に結婚の報告をしに行きたいんだけど。
Uh-oh.
ロサンヨークにいるんだよね。
My parents?
うん。僕の両親には結婚の報告したし、次はあんたの両親だと思ったんだけど。
Are they going to talk to the gods in this one? At the end of Jupiter's route, he's like, gods don't exist. My parents. Memories of Mars and Venus and Celestia rushed into my mind, and I froze for a moment. As the former Cupid, my parents were actual gods, being far beyond mortal comprehension. Ryuki seemed puzzled by my reaction.
もしかして、うちの母さんみたいに世界中飛び回ってたりする？
A magician?
マジシャンだって言ってたし。
That's funny. Oh shoot, that's right. I told him that my mom was a magician. The day Ryuki met my mother came back to me. Oh yeah, he actually did meet her. Back then she had a habit of changing her appearance for the human realm, then teleporting back to Celestia whenever she wanted. Not wanting to reveal her true divine nature, I had described her as the magician to explain her abrupt disappearance act. Ryuki had latched on to that explanation and still believed my mom was genuinely a musician.
違ったっけ？
No, you've got it right. Yes, she's a magician. She does tend to vanish a lot. She's usually all over the place, so I'm not certain when or how we'll be able to meet up with her.
そうなんだ。
He's like, you can't just call her.
もしかしてあんま挨拶してほしくなかったりする？
No, you are totally right. Uh-huh. Oh, not at all. My parents are just unique. They're very unpredictable. I'll send a message to them later, but that aside, what's our plan for tomorrow?
え？
Our flight leaves tomorrow afternoon, right? Maybe we could go shopping before we leave. Hoping to divert the conversation away from my parents, I quickly changed the topic. My parents were gods. That was unfathomable to humans. I didn't even know if my parents understood the concept of introducing a fiancé. Even as we chatted about our plans for tomorrow, something felt off. Now we're back to Ryuki's point of view. It was as though she was deliberately skirting around the topic of her parents.
もしかして両親の話はしない方が良かったのかな？
I recalled her odd reaction when I had met her mother. Perhaps that strange experience was why she hesitated to introduce me to them. But my own mother and sister were far from ordinary too. Her mother couldn't be that peculiar.
僕としてはきちんとご挨拶しておきたいんだけど。
Yet a sudden doubt crept into my mind.
まさか僕の方に問題があるってこと？
Oh my goodness, there's nothing wrong with you, there's something wrong with her parents. Perhaps she didn't believe I was worthy of meeting her parents. Or maybe she thought I wasn't reliable enough yet, especially considering she was older than me. Unable to suppress my frustration, I held her arm tightly. I crawled on top of her and pulled her into a firm embrace. Ryuki, what's the matter? He's gonna assert his dominance. He's old enough. He's worthy enough to meet your parents. A wave of insecurity washed over me as I looked at her. We shared the same room and the same bed, but her relaxed demeanor showed a lack of concern. She went to sleep before I could articulate my feelings the night before, and I was determined to not let that happen again. Our kiss, though it had left us both flustered, seemed to haunt me more than her. Why? He's got a younger age complex. I mean, I guess that's understandable as the man. I don't know. I think there is like a thing men don't like about being younger than the woman. At least in stories and movies. I appreciated her trust in me, but was simultaneously frustrated by her apparent lack of interest.
やっぱり男として意識されてないのか？
Why would she agree to marry you if she didn't? Well, it wasn't like we hadn't done it yet. That day when I proposed to her upon turning 20 was the first time I held her as a man. Reflecting on it, I realized I'd been so focused that I wasn't sure if I'd done everything right.
だから次はちゃんとしたいって思ってたのに。
This shouldn't be an act to prove something, it should just be an act of love. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions, but the combination of frustration and her irresistible charm was too potent to resist. I needed her to see me as a man.
リネット、いい？
At my worst, she blushed, a touch of confusion in her eyes. Ryuki, yes, of course, but...
いいならいいでしょ。
Are you asking permission? Oh my goodness. He's asking permission. I kissed her before she could utter another word, pulled her ponytail free, and letting her hair cascade down. Her locks spread across the bed sheets, and the scent of her hair treatment I'd given her wafted around us. It reminded me of the mini bottles of shampoo and conditioner I packed for our trip.
アメニティのじゃなくてちゃんと僕があげたのを使ってくれたんだ。
Those items were meant for her, but the feminine aroma they produced made my heart race. Hey, Ryuki.
ダメ。20歳になったらもう遠慮はしないって言ったでしょ。あんたはじっとしてて。
You just go with the flow. I had to assert that to cement my resolve. I kissed her neck gently, trying to hold onto my sanity. Ryuki,
どうしてそんな可愛い顔するんだよ。反則じゃないか。
Why are you so cute? I love that he keeps asking that about her. Everything about her was endearing, her blush, her soft whisper slipping through her lips. I hadn't realized I had it in me to feel this way. Now that I did, there was no going back.
いいから今夜は任せて。
My boldness crumbled as I looked into the depths of her beautiful eyes. You're not supposed to. You can't crumble now. I knew I would be hopelessly lost in them tonight. Oh my goodness. The wedding I want. Okay, so those are the sections in this. So that's good to know then. But still, we're only an hour in. I have to keep going. I want them to be like an hour and a half long. What I've seen videos of has been like 4.5 hours for like Ryuki's route. I haven't looked at anyone else's playthrough route, but I'm guessing 4.5 hours is about average. So I want to see if I can cram this into 3 videos instead of 4 to try to make the playlist a little bit shorter. If there's a screenshot in each one though. I slowly awoke the next morning to the sun's rays slipping into the room. An unfamiliar ceiling greeted me. Confusion clouded my mind until I remembered where I was. I was with Ryuki, and we spent the night at a Japanese inn. With the memories from last night rushing back, I blushed and covered my cheeks with my hands. That's right, yesterday it hadn't been our first time, but I wasn't sure if I could interact with Ryuki as casually as before. I had never seen Ryuki like that before. Last night was far more sensual and intense than our first time. Perhaps that's why I felt so new to me, even though we shared intimate moments before. Memory alone made my heart pound.
何
Ryuki mumbled, staring from his sleep. I'm sorry, did I wake you?
大丈夫。
Despite his words, he looked like he was half asleep. He graced me with a sleepy smile and a warm hug. Yes, he was definitely still asleep.
あったかい。
He chuckled and gently stroked my head as if I were a child. I thought he might have been mistaking me for Kagura. As I savored his warmth, I was unsure how to react. I have to admit, it's nice to wake up to Ryuki by my side like this. Despite our relationship, we weren't living together yet. Both of us were busy with our own work. We often met up for dates and strolled through the streets of Lost York before winding up at his place. Yet I'd only spent a few nights there. The last time had been on his birthday. This was only the second time I'd greeted the morning with him after a passionate night. Well, thanks for clarifying that. Suddenly Ryuki shifted and his eyes fluttered open.
あれ
Are you awake now? Good morning, Ryuki.
あ
He blushed a bit, realizing he had his arms wrapped around me. He didn't pull away, though. Instead, his face reddened and he tightened his embrace.
おはよう。
He's so cute. His voice was awkward, just like mine. Did you sleep well?
あんたは
I slept well, too.
そう。ならよかった。
You're being so awkward. Yeah, I wonder what's for breakfast.
和食じゃないかな。
I see. I can't wait.
うん。
We held each other as we continued our stiff conversation. The alarm hadn't gone off yet, so we had no concrete plans. So we stayed snuggled under the warm covers, basking in the comfortable silence. I suppose this is what our mornings will look like once we're married. The thought filled me with happiness. Have you thought about what kind of wedding you want us to have? Your parents asked too, didn't they? You mentioned that you hadn't decided anything, but I thought maybe you had some ideas, Ryuki.
別にそういうわけじゃないけど。
As Ryuki mumbled, he tucked his head under his arm, blocking my view of his face.
逆にさ、あんたはどんな結婚式にしたい？
Me?
うん。したい結婚式があるなら聞いておきたいから。
The wedding I want, huh? The weddings I planned at Cupid Court flashed across my mind, but until now I've never pictured my own wedding. I was Cupid after all. I'd only ever been a spectator of love until Ryuki had proposed to me. It was when everything changed. Back down memory lane. He even designed a unique wedding dress just for me. A one-of-a-kind wedding dress, a special and precious dress. While I didn't have any particular request for our wedding, I knew I wanted one thing. I wanted a wedding ceremony that matches the dress you made for me, Ryuki. After all, it was going to be a special day marking the beginning of our life together.
あ、そっか。ありがとう。
Ryuki seemed surprised at my words, stuttering out a response filled with joy and hesitation.
そっか。ドレスか。
I wonder if Ryuki had other wedding ideas in mind. Regardless, I was certain about wanting to wear his dress. I made a mental note to ask again about his vision for our wedding when the opportunity arose. As I contemplated, I nestled my face into his shoulder, savoring the warmth of his embrace.
結婚式か。
I'm still not dressed yet. Lynette was doing her makeup in the bathroom. I was preparing for the day too as I reflected on our earlier conversation. She wanted a wedding where she could wear the dress I made. That thought filled me with happiness. However, the wedding I envisioned included a unitoe, like the one I saw when I was little. Aw, shrine wedding! The grace and elegance of that ceremony was deeply engraved into my memory. Ingrained, not engraved. The beautiful colors of the genitoe had mesmerized me so much that I couldn't design anything else for a while.
でも、式まで日本でなんてわがまま言えないよな。
I had concerns about whether her parents and our friends from Lost York could attend. Above all, I wanted to respect her desire to wear the wedding dress I'd created just for her.
そもそも彼女の両親に会えるかどうかわからないし。
That troubled me, especially when I remembered how she avoided the topic last night. Before we settled on our wedding plans, we needed to confirm where her parents were first. But since we were in Japan, I figured it was best to enjoy our time here first and address the matter when we returned to Lost York. I continued thinking about it as I gazed into the mirror, checking for any unruly strands of hair. We had enjoyed a hearty Japanese breakfast before checking out of the inn and making our way to the airport. Our plan was to purchase some souvenirs before our departure. Time flew by like nothing.
うん。でも楽しかった。
Absolutely. Hand in hand, we sauntered through the streets, cherishing our final day in Japan. What should we get? There's stuff to buy at the airport too, right?
うん。浅口には美味しい和菓子のお店も多いから、ここで買うのもいいと思うけど。
Out of the corner of my eye, something peculiar caught my attention. A calm man, a muscular man. Let's see. The muscular man's the correct answer, so let's say calm man. Wow, what's that? A man was calmly pedaling a peculiar vehicle past us.
ああ、あれは自転車タクシーだよ。
A bicycle taxi.
うん。人力で漕ぐから環境に優しいんだって。最近この辺りで試行運転が始まったってニュースでやってたけど。乗ってみる？なかなか見かけないし。
You sure?
せっかくだし、まだ時間あるから。
Yay, let's ride on one then.
うん。じゃあ待ってて。
Okay, let's go back up. What's he gonna say to the muscular man? Is he gonna compare himself to the muscular man too? Oh my goodness. Wow, what's that? It's so cute. The muscular man hustled past us, pulling an odd carriage.
ああ、あれは人力車だよ。
A rickshaw.
なんて言えばいいのかな。今では観光客用の乗り物みたいになってて、観光名所を説明しながら走ってくれるんだよ。乗ってみる？
You sure?
せっかくだし、まだ時間あるから。
Yeah, let's ride one then.
Uh, じゃあ待ってて。
Okay, well, at least he didn't ask what the muscular man and start comparing himself to him. Ryuki approached the rickshaw runner and told him our destination. He then helped me into the rickshaw and off we went, speeding through the streets. Wow, I didn't expect it to be this fast. The speed was surprisingly exhilarating and beyond what I expected from somebody pulling it.
へえ、こんな感じなんだ。
Ryuki appeared captivated too, looking around with curiosity. We were enjoying the sights of Akashi from an elevated view when we spotted something remarkable.
見て見て、白無垢だ。
ほんとだ、すごい綺麗。
We turned our attention to another rickshaw where a resplendent rider in traditional attire sat. Wow. The sight of the exotic dress immediately captivated me. It was incredibly lavish.
わ、
It captivated him too. That's so beautiful, Ryuki. Did you see that?
うん。白無垢だ。
Ryuki smiled, his eyes alight with wonder. Shiramuku.
うん。日本の結婚式で着る衣装なんだ。
Huh? That's used at weddings.
そうだよ。へえ、綺麗な椿もんだ。
His voice was filled with admiration. He watched intently as the rickshaw disappeared into the distance.
すごいな。どうやって作られてるんだろう、あれ。あの柄をドレスに取り入れたら面白いだろうな。それでステッチを入れて、裏地も赤吹きと同じにして。角隠しを参考に、オフホワイトのレーシーなヘッドドレスを髪に添えるのもいいね。
As he spoke, Ryuki retrieved his sketchbook from his bag and swiftly began drafting some designs. His immediate pivot to design mode was a clear indicator of his passion for fashion. It looks like he's enjoyed himself. Ryuki did mention wanting to draw some dresses. It reminded me of the unique dress he'd once designed just for me. I was certain that Ryuki had poured a great deal of thought into crafting that dress. The thoughtfulness behind its creation made the dress even more special to me. I had dreamed of wearing it at our wedding, but...
和装、あんたにも似合うだろうな。
His remark, laden with obvious adoration, gave me pause.
白無垢もいいけれど、やっぱり十二一重の方がいいな。五つ絹に何色を重ねるかで印象が変わるからね。あんたにぴったりの5色を探してみたいよ。ああ、でもアレンジしてドレスっぽくするのもいいかも。体に合うように形を調整して。
Suddenly, Ryuki cut himself off mid-sentence, falling silent as if embarrassed. His sudden hesitation piqued my curiosity. What's a juniote? You slipped up.
日本の昔の平安時代の正装なんだ。色や柄にも意味があるんだけど、あんたにも似合う組み合わせがあって。子供の頃、旅行先で一度見たことがあるんだ。十二一重の結婚式。五九海神社っていう有名な場所でやっててさ、すごく綺麗だったんだ。
Maybe Ryuki wants to hold a Japanese wedding. The way his eyes filled with longing revealed more than his words could. Suddenly I remembered Ryuki's unusual reaction earlier that morning. He seemed happy when I mentioned wanting to wear the dress that he had designed, but there was something off about his response. Could it be that he was hesitant to express his desire for a traditional Japanese wedding because of my fondness for his dress? Ryuki, do you want us to have a Japanese-style wedding? Ryuki shot me a quick glance, holding his breath. It seemed that my guess was correct. His mouth opened slightly as if he were grappling for the right words. He finally conceded with a light nod.
実は
I knew it. But if that was the case, you could have been upfront about it, you know?
だってあんたがあんな嬉しいこと言ってくれたから。
Sweet. Ryuki was referring to when I told him I wanted to wear the dress he made for our wedding.
それに僕もあのドレスで結婚式をしたいって気持ちはあったから、それで悩んでたんだ。でもやっぱり子供の頃見たみたいなあんな結婚式をしてみたい。ずっと憧れてたから。
His eyes sparkled as he spoke, reminding me of clients who came to Cupid Corp explaining their dream weddings.
だからできれば五九海神社で和装の結婚式を挙げてみたい。あんたの十二一重姿を見てみたいんだ。
He could have kept quiet and let my wishes lead the way, but he chose to share his true feelings. That made me squeeze Ryuki's hand tightly, joy filling my heart. Alright, let's have our wedding at the Itsukumi shrine then.
いいの？
Yes, of course. Thank you for being honest with me, Ryuki. It wasn't that I had a specific dream wedding in mind. More than anything, I wanted a wedding that Ryuki would cherish. I want our wedding to be something to remember, so your dream is my dream, Ryuki.
そっか。ありがとう。
A gentle smile graced Ryuki's lips as he turned to gaze in the direction of the now distant rickshaw. His expression was filled with joy. Before we left Japan, we contacted the Itsukumi shrine to reserve a wedding date. However, we faced an obstacle. No.
予約結構先になっちゃったな。
We had reached out through the phone and email. Just as we were about to board our flight, we received an email suggesting a far off date.
こんなに早く埋まるんだね。
Even popular wedding venues in Lost York don't fill up this quickly. This only proved how popular the Itsukumi Shrine was as a wedding venue. We had asked for the earliest date available, but it turned out to be a year away. Goodness. Well, I guess we could use this time to prepare everything.
まあ確かにあんたに似合う十二一重を選ぶのに十分時間が使えるのはいいけどさ。でも僕はあんたと早く結婚したいんだけど。
Ryuki looked at me with a pout. Even though he was annoyed, his words still brimmed with affection. I know, whenever we were deciding our wedding date, we wanted to get married on a 1st or a 15th because those were paydays for the military, and it had to be on a Saturday. And the only two times was March the next year or September of this year. And I'm like, September, that's like what, 6 months? I was like, that's a really short time to prepare everything. So we're like, we'll do it in March. And then like the next month, we're like, you know what? I don't want to wait a whole year. We're just going to get ready in September. They still had the 15th on a Saturday, so we didn't want to get married on September 1st because, you know, it's Labor Day. Or Labor Day is like the first Monday in September, but sometimes it could fall on the 1st. The banks are closed. He wanted to marry me as soon as possible. He reached out to place a hand on mine as a testament to his sincerity. I was wearing the ring Ryuki had given me last Christmas, a ring that he personally made. He told me that he wanted me to wear it forever, and I saw in his eyes that he meant it. I didn't wear it daily because I was afraid of losing or damaging it.
あんたを野放しにしとくと変な虫が寄ってきそうだし。
He thinks I was going to come in a year and take her away. I could say the same to him. Ryuki grew more handsome with each passing day, and that worried me a bit. That was why I understood his impatience. How about we register our marriage first? In Lost York, legal marriages usually occur on the wedding day, but some Cupid Corp clients opt to complete the paperwork earlier.
入籍。
Ryuki's cheeks flushed a lovely shade of red at my proposal.
そっか。先に入籍するっていう手段もあるんだよな。 さあ、そもそもうちに入るって認識でいいの？前にあんたが掲載員になるって言ってくれてたと思ったけど。もし僕の方があんたの家に入った方がいいなら。
Her family name's made up, though. No, I'm perfectly okay with being a Keisayan. Not like there's any mirror family around anyway. The name I used in this role wasn't from my family with generations behind it. As for Ryuki, his family had been working in the clothing trade since the Edo period, and he was their heir. So he looked a bit taken aback when I boldly asserted that I wanted to join his family.
でもあんたのご両親にもちゃんと確認した方がいいし、ご挨拶には行きたいんだけど。
He's gonna push for it again.
僕がどういう人間かご両親にもちゃんと知ってもらった方がリネットも安心かと思って。
Her parents really don't care. Don't worry, my parents aren't the type to fuss over name changes. In fact, my parents don't really have a last name.
いや、あんたはそう思ってるかもしれないけど、一応確認しないと。
Okay, I'll message them later, but for now, when should we register our marriage? Avoiding it again. It would complicate things if he knew the truth about my family, so I changed the topic. Ryuki looked at me suspiciously before speaking.
僕としてはあんたの誕生日とかに入籍するのがいいと思うんだけど。
You want to get married on her birthday? My birthday?
そう、どっちかの誕生日と合わせた方が覚えやすいし、
Easy to
お祝い
remember.
もしやすいから。
It's a very man thing to say.
あんたの誕生日っていつだっけ？
She doesn't know. I tried to recall the birth date on my profile. If I remember correctly, my aunt set some random date as my birthday. I told him my made-up birthday that allowed me to live as a human, but it felt strange to say it aloud. I tilted my head thoughtfully. That birth date held no special significance for me. It wasn't the day I came into this role, nor was it my actual birthday. In fact, birthdays still didn't exist for gods at all. Gil did celebrate my birthday during my college days, but Paris mentioned she didn't usually celebrate her birthday, so we stopped celebrating our birthdays after college. We shared a cake or something, but we concluded that celebrations weren't necessary. If anything, I only started thinking about birthdays after celebrating Ryuki's. That was why it felt strange to call a random date that my aunt chose as my birthday, and then act like it was some important day.
じゃあ入籍はあんたの誕生日で。
I personally think your birthday would be better, Ryuki.
僕の誕生日？
Yes, how does that sound?
ダメじゃないけど。でも大晦日になると帰省したりと慌ただしいし、あんたの誕生日の方がいいと思ったんだけど。
I know his birthday is what, December 31st?
そもそもそれだと結局結構先になっちゃうし。
No. His birthday is way past the date they can even reserve the thing. Ryuki genuinely seemed to be considering my feelings, which made it even more heartbreaking that I didn't have a real birthday. My birthday, my family, and even my very identity were all fabrications. I was lying to him. Ryuki doesn't know that I was Cupid. One day I wanted to tell him everything. I didn't want to keep secrets from Ryuki. But now wasn't the time. I hadn't even told him about my parents yet. I had no idea how to explain everything in a way that he'd be able to understand. Who in the world would actually believe that I was once Cupid?
リネット？
I hope she does tell him. That would be interesting. I'm sorry. I still think your birthday is a better choice.
なんで？
Because it's the day I hold the fondest memories with you, Ryuki. Today we celebrated Ryuki's birthday together for the first time. Our bond deepened. It was the perfect day to legally tie the knot.
まあ確かにそうだけど。
Ryuki's face turned a deep red, probably recalling the memories of that day. I pondered it for a while, then finally nodded.
わかった。じゃあ僕の誕生日に入籍しよう。
I think it meant he. Yeah, he pondered, not her. Great.
じゃあ次はあんたの十二一重を作る手順について話し合いたいんだけど。まずは採寸させてくれる？同時並行でいくつかデザインも描いていくから 見てもらって。
We dove further into our preparation. We talked about our wedding attire and began discussing the menu we'd have at our reception. Finally, we studied the pamphlet from one of the venues we were considering to strengthen our vision of the wedding.
せっかくならこの旬のタケノコを使ったコースとかいいんじゃないかな。茶碗蒸しにしてもいいし、炊き込みご飯でも美味しく食べられるから。
That sounds delicious.
あんたは気になる食材とかある？
Well, there are a few, but what's this Tara Nome right here? I've never seen it before.
ああ、それは山菜。山に自然に生えているもので、少し苦味があるんだけど、美味しいよ。天ぷらにして食べることが多いかな。
Dang it, I want some sushi now. I see, I've never eaten tempura before, so that sounds pretty interesting.
じゃあ、それも候補に入れて。
We had a myriad of things to decide on, but every moment was filled with joy. Talking with Ryuki made time fly on the lengthy flight back home. Like a thorn in my side, huh? That's where we're going to go ahead and stop this episode. I like that... Yeah, and my battery's going to die. I like that every section that it comes up with has like CGs of the last game displayed in it. I thought one of them was possibly a CG from this game, but don't know that I remember that was when they proposed. It was the CG from when they proposed. So I'm really looking forward to their wedding and how she's going to tell him that she's been a god all this time, and looking forward to seeing the new Cupid. I don't even know which route he comes in. He probably comes in either Jupiter's or maybe like the next Parasite one. I don't even know. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.